Alright? I did it, guys. I confess. I did it. You know what? No, you did it. This is entirely your fault, because you did nothing to stop me nor prevent me. You didn't even try. I got the Commodore 64 Maxi. Okay, so here we have it. Let's begin. So this is the box, and already I have to say there is something about it, the colors, the shape, that I really like, and I think that they did a good job when it comes to the marketing, of course, with a full-size working keyboard, which nice, and they're really bragging about that joystick, aren't they? Well, we'll check that. Anyway, you see the name is the C64. I think they couldn't use the word Commodore due to licensing problems, so there is that. You'll see that that's one of the difference. Anyways, how about we compare it with the original box from 1982? Boom, so here we got it. So we see very different approach. Of course, on this one we have the full name, Commodore 64, the personal computer with professional power, 64K of memory, new from Commodore, I mean new. Another thing you will notice is that there is an actual difference in height between the old box and the new box, of course the old one being taller. But with that being said, how about we look at the back? So, the back of the new one, I mean, it tells you the ports and shows you a little bit about the 64 games that you get in the carousel. But when it comes to the old one, you see a completely different type of marketing. They were still trying to show you that this can be a very serious machine. It's not just about games. And it's interesting that they actually call it a complete computer system, and they show you all the different peripherals and clearly people from the 1980s doing work. Okay, so let's open the box now and let's see what we get. First and foremost, we have the computer proper. This is not a keyboard, it's the computer, which includes the keyboard. We've got this shielding, plastic, and we can see that it's cased inside some kind of foam, which I do appreciate. And already off the bat, the box, we'll compare it with the original, which I also have, but the color is different. The size it looks very similar to me, but we'll have to put them one next to the other. What else comes in the box? Okay, so opening this side little container here, we see the joystick, and man, the weight. Well, this is nice, this feels premium, I'll be honest with you. Then we've got a user's guide, lovely, I'll check it out later. And then the cables, so here is the brick, of course, USA. This is the HDMI, I can't believe I'm actually using that word when I'm talking about Commodore. And of course, this is the cable for power, USB, clearly. Alright, so now let's compare the two. The one at the top is the original from 1982 and at the bottom the C64. First and foremost, let's discuss the color variant. Close up to the new, close up to the old one. Yeah, I mean, they didn't exactly get the same color. It is what it is. This is the marquee, it says the C64, and the original, Commodore 64, the original is better. This is the power, and again, the power lamp, looking pretty good. Keyboard wise, I think they did a really good job. It looks very close to the original, but you will notice that as I shift to the original now, the letters are actually brighter in the original from the 80s. Let's test the sound difference. I think the original sounds better, the new one is a little empty. As we put them side by side, we see that, yeah, it's not the same. The more modern one is taller, and it's kind of different. I don't know exactly how to explain it, it just doesn't match 100%, which is a little annoying. I mean, it's still nice, but it's a little annoying. In fact, I think it's closer to my VIC-20 when it comes to the mold. Very surprising, I wonder why they went for that. Anyways, this is what you get. And I'm going to show you what you get in the original when it comes to cables. Alright, so as you can see, very different. Let's examine them one by one and then we're going to turn them on, compare them. Okay, so here is the power for the new, power for the original. And you can see, this is the new one and this is the original kind of port. This is the HDMI for video and this is the kind of video input that you would get in the original, and that's what you would connect to the back. Talking about that, the side of the original has two control ports, an on-off switch, and that's the port for power. Very sleek, if you ask me. The rear of the original has a lot of the cartridge ports and all sorts of different. The first one on the left is video, then you have for the cassette player and several other proprietary ports. that were used for expansions and whatnot, and other peripherals. The right side is plain. The new model has 3 USB ports, which cool, sure, and then instead of a switch for power, it has a button. Not a huge fan. The rear is basically empty, and this is one of my greatest critiques. Power in, HDMI, USB. I hate it that they don't give us an original port, so if you wanted to connect it to a CRT, for instance. Right side, clean. Alright, this is my original setup from 1982. We've got the original Commodore that you have just examined. When it comes to the video, we have an original video monitor 1702, which was a very high-end choice, we could say, because a lot of people just connected these to their TVs. And then, clearly, it comes with the Commodore 1541 floppy drive discs, which is for 5.5 inches floppies. This is the modern setup. Instead, I connected it directly to a flat screen TV from the early 2000s, and so let's turn them on. As you can see, this is how long it takes to boot for the original Commodore 64, and it boots directly into BASIC. If you wanted to play a game, you just turn on the floppy drive, in this case, because I'm not using a cassette, and then I'm going to insert the floppy game, in this case Defender of the Crown, one of the best portings on the system, and then you have to type this, load asterisk, comma 8, comma 1, and then wait for it to load, and boom, here is the game. Let's repeat the same thing. So we're turning on the modern one. Let's see how long it takes to boot. There we go. So you got a little intro screen, if you will, and then it boots directly into Carousel. I think you can set it up so that it boots directly onto BASIC. That, as you see, is one of the options, so that's customizable. So let's do that. Let's switch into BASIC, and there it is. Now clearly it's connected to a flat screen, but as we will see later, the system does give you some options for filters. I think this is a fantastic purchase. It's an excellent product, but I know already that there will be plenty of people in the comments who will tell me, no, this is pointless, what's the point, just get a Raspberry Pi, just get an emulator, in fact, for that matter. But here's the thing, the reason why I'm actually very happy that they're going in this direction, even though there are still a few things that I think they could do better and improve, the reason why this is good for me is because this is perfectly catered to the type of customer that I am, and statistically, at least some of you are. I understand that, of course, it's a lot easier and in fact free to just download an emulator, just double click and you start the game, whatever it is that you're emulating, whether it be an old school 16-bit or 8-bit console, or whether it be like one of these 8 or 16-bit computers, whether it be a Commodore 64, an Amiga 500, whatever you like. But for me, that doesn't do it. It doesn't cut it, because what I do miss about these consoles and computers is the entire experience, and what I want is a full nostalgia rush. Now, given I have all the original hardware, right? I've got a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo right now connected to a CRT. I've got a computer. I just showed you the Commodore 64. I have a few Amiga 500 that are connected to an original Amiga 1080 monitor, CRT. But then again, not everyone can afford that because these are expensive, and also eventually they will fail. And a lot of us don't even know how to fix them, and it's not easy to find people that can recap capacitors. So at the end of the day, I think this is a fantastic way. For instance, the one that they are coming out with, the Amiga 1200. If you want an original machine in very good conditions that has been fully recapped, it's gonna be expensive. And maybe instead people have they want to spend $150, $200 tops, maybe 180, but then they can get the Maxi, because the Mini doesn't work, it doesn't cut it. It just doesn't work. We want as close as an experience as possible. Personally, what's inside, to me, does not matter, as long as I've got a shell that looks like the thing. I can connect a tank mouse, and at least it feels like I'm turning on the machine and connecting it to a monitor. It really helps. Again, it really does provide that kind of nostalgia rush that we want to feel. We want to re-experience those steps, if you will. And so even though it's easier to double click on an icon on your computer, easy is not what I'm doing this for. I'm doing this to recreate as close as an experience as possible to the real deal. And again, the real deal is always going to be the superior choice, of course. But as I was saying, not everyone can afford that. Not everyone has access to that. And even though I do have plenty of these computers, as I say, in 20 years' time, some of these will fail. The floppies will stop working. When it comes to the settings, as you see, you can choose the computer model, C64 Parallel NTSC, or you can boot it up as a VIC-20, which I thought was pretty cool that you get both machines emulated. And talking about the joystick, this is good. This is really premium, high quality. It probably has some weights inside to increase the overall weight, but this was done in period 2. And yeah, it feels very clicky. I actually like this a lot. Okay, so here we are on basic, and I wanted to show you that you can select media access to sideload whatever games you want. Just put them into a USB drive, and then you can add whatever games you want in case you're not a huge fan of the 64 games that are available. Let's boot one. There you go. I'm the red car, and I haven't got a clue how you play this. I think I'm accelerating, but the blue car is going faster. And it's humiliating me. Well, that is actually part of the Commodore 64 experience. You never knew what the heck you're supposed to do anyways, and what keys make it go. Anyways, as you see, you have pixel perfect and the CRT filtered version, and then which means it will fill the entire screen, or you can simulate a 4:3 ratio. And I think, I mean, we'll try it, but it's not gonna look good on a flat screen. I think that would be good if we could connect it to a original CRT, which from the box you can't, but I did get something, and I'm gonna do it now and see if it's actually doable. Let's go. So here's what we're going to use is this adapter here to connect HDMI and switch it to RCA. Let's see if it works. Okay, so we are connecting the HDMI directly in this port like this, and then these connectors onto the CRT. I know they're really far away, but let's try it. And it works. Man, this looks really good. And the 4/3 looks great. It's actually moved a little bit to the side now that I notice it, but not a big deal. All the way from there. Talking about floppies though, one thing that I think these machines could be improved upon, due to the fact that I think they are a commercial success, so hopefully they will make more, is that I really wish that there was like a deluxe version or like a premium version, something that also has a floppy drive so that you can insert the floppy disk. So that's one thing that I would love to be able to do. So, and likewise, if you have like a Sega Genesis or a Super Nintendo Maxi, imagine they do these. Of course, the basic model, it's just basically USB with an inside carousel and that kind of stuff. That's fine. But maybe like you could increase the price of another $100, for instance, for those who want a more premium experience, and then it could read cartridges. I don't think that would be too difficult to do personally. I'm not an engineer, but it has been done by other companies that make these consoles that can read the cartridges. And so I think that that would be great. And likewise, on computers like the Commodore 64, all you really need to do, you don't even need to put a floppy disk drive inside, because the original didn't have it. You just need to give us a port. You need to give us an old school port in the back, not USB nonsense, an original port so that I can connect the peripherals from the period. And then it already has BASIC, so it understands the commands. And I think that that would be excellent, and I would be okay paying top dollar to have a Commodore 64 Maxi premium version or deluxe version, and likewise if they do it for the Amiga 500, or if there is a secondary version for the Amiga 1200 that has a floppy disk installed, or if you don't want to put it inside, then at least give us the ports so we can connect it. Now, I don't know software-wise if there is something needs to be changed in order to be able to read those floppies. But that's why I'd be happy to pay the premium, to pay for that work, right? To pay for that design, if you will. But that's what I would change. But I do think that these are absolutely worth it. I think they're great as an idea, as a concept. And no, for me, a Raspberry Pi, for me, just an app on my computer doesn't cut it. All right, number ones, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think, and if you like this, what I could do is, as I was saying before earlier on the video, I could make, we did the comparison, I could do one where I actually try and see if we can connect it to a real CRT. Let me know, and for now, thank you for watching.